The 2026 Senate elections are quickly approaching, with less than a year and a half to go. After securing a 53-seat majority in 2024, Republicans look to keep their majority, while Democrats look to take back control of the Senate. In this video, I'll be going over my first 2026 Senate map prediction. There are going to be a number of highly competitive races where both parties look towards to gain seats. Before we get started, leave a like and subscribe to my channel to stay updated on news, elections, and anything politics related. Let me know in the comment section below which video you would like to see next. We will start by filling out the solid states for both parties. Solid states are states where either party is expected to win by 15 percentage points or more. I'll start off with the solid blue states. The solid blue states include Oregon, Colorado, Illinois, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and Delaware. For the solid red states, we have Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, West Virginia, and South Carolina. With the solid states filled out, the Democrats stand at 40 seats, and the Republicans stand at 46 seats. We will now move on to the likely states. These are states where either party is expected to win by 7 to 13 percentage points. Likely states still have a clear favorite, but are slightly more competitive than solid states. We will start out with the likely blue states. The likely blue states include New Mexico, Virginia, New Jersey, and New Hampshire. Democrats are heavily favored in all of these races, especially in New Jersey, where incumbent Senator Cory Booker will be up for re-election. For those of you who don't know, Cory Booker gave a record-long 25-hour speech in the Senate, talking about the problems with the Trump administration. Booker's popularity has skyrocketed ever since, making him the clear favorite in this race. For Republicans, their likely states include Alaska, Texas, and Florida. Republicans have been performing well in all of these states. Florida has a recent trend of shifting to the right. Ever since Trump won the state back in 2016, Florida has shifted over 10 percentage points to the right. Texas has been slightly more competitive, but Trump did carry it by double digits in the 2024 election, making it a likely state in 2026. We will now be moving on to the lean states for both parties. Lean states are states where candidates are expected to win by 3 to 6 percentage points. These races have a favorite, but are still very competitive. For Democrats, they have only one lean state, Minnesota. In Minnesota, incumbent Democratic Senator Tina Smith is no longer seeking re-election, leaving an open Senate seat up for grabs. In the 2024 election, Kamala Harris won Minnesota by a margin of 4.2%. Despite Donald Trump flipping every major swing state, Minnesota once again proved itself to be a dependable blue stronghold for Democrats. Back in 2020, when Tina Smith was first elected to the Senate, she won by a margin of 5.2%. At both the Senate and the presidential level, Minnesota has consistently fallen into the lean category for Democrats. We will now move on to the lean states for the Republicans. Republican lean states include Iowa, Ohio, and Maine. These states have always been somewhat competitive, but Republicans have always come out on top. In Maine, incumbent Republican Senator Susan Collins is running for re-election. Back in 2020, Susan Collins was elected by an 8.5% margin. Maine is split into two congressional districts, with one being liberal and one being slightly more conservative. Collins is favored to win this race, as she has been the incumbent since 1997. In Ohio, the incumbent Republican Senator Jon Husted is up for election. He was appointed to replace J.D. Vance in the Senate after he became vice president. Ohio is a fairly conservative state, and Jon Husted is favored to win. In Iowa, incumbent Senator Joni Ernst is running for re-election. She's been in the Senate since 2015 and has won her past races by decent margins. While Iowa has become more Republican in recent years, Democrats have still remained somewhat competitive in certain areas. That said, with Ernst's experience and the state's recent voting trends, Republicans are slightly favored to win here, putting Iowa into the lean red category for now. We will now be taking a look at the final three states: Georgia, North Carolina, and Michigan. These are some of the closest and most talked about races in the 2026 election. All three states have had tight results in recent years, and this year looks to be no different. We'll start off with the state of Georgia. In Georgia, Democratic Senator Jon Ossoff is up for re-election. He first won his seat in the January 2021 runoff, defeating Republican David Perdue by around 1.2%. That race was a huge moment for Democrats, as it helped them gain control of the Senate. Since then, Ossoff has built a stronger statewide profile, but Georgia still remains one of the most competitive states in the country. Back in 2020, Joe Biden won Georgia by just 0.2%, flipping the state for the first time since 1992. However, in 2024, Donald Trump narrowly took it back, winning Georgia by around 1.5%, showing that Republicans still have a strong foothold in the state. Despite these close margins, Democrats have continued to perform well in metro areas like Atlanta, while Republicans dominate in the more rural regions. Ossoff will likely face a serious Republican challenger, and both parties are expected to spend heavily on this race. Given Georgia's recent voting history, being decided by less than 2 points in nearly every major race, it's clear that this will be one of the closest Senate battles of 2026. However, given Ossoff's incumbent advantage, as well as his popularity in the state, Georgia will be placed in the tilt Democratic category for now. Next up is the state of North Carolina, where Republican Senator Thom Tillis is up for re-election. Tillis was first elected in 2014 and won re-election in 2020 by a narrow margin of just 1.8%, defeating Democrat Cal Cunningham. Since then, he's remained a relatively quiet but steady presence in the Senate. While he isn't as high profile as some of the other senators, his incumbency gives him an advantage going into 2026. North Carolina has been a tricky state for Democrats in recent years. Despite being considered a swing state, Republicans have won nearly every statewide race since 2010, with margins typically ranging between 1 to 5 points. In the 2024 presidential election, Donald Trump carried North Carolina again, this time by around 3.4%, continuing the state's Republican trend. However, Democrats have remained competitive in urban areas like Charlotte, Raleigh, and Durham, and the state continues to trend slowly towards becoming more of a battleground. If they're able to turn out younger and more diverse voters, they could make this race closer. But for now, with Tillis running as an incumbent and recent statewide results favoring Republicans, North Carolina will be placed into the tilt Republican category for now. Our final state is the state of Michigan. In Michigan, Democratic Senator Gary Peters is retiring, leaving an open Senate seat up for grabs. In 2020, Peters narrowly won his race by about 1.7%, taking 49.9% of the vote to John James's 48.2%. At the top of the ticket, Joe Biden carried Michigan by 2.7% in 2020, while in 2024, Donald Trump flipped it back by 1.4%, winning 49.7% to Kamala Harris's 48.3%. Despite being such a close state, Democrats continue to hold the governor's office and both chambers of the state legislature. On the Senate side, Michigan also tends to be more liberal than neighboring states, such as Indiana and Ohio. In 2024, even when Donald Trump won all 7 swing states and Michigan at the presidential level, Democrats still won the Senate seat, showing their ability to maintain a foothold at the Senate level. This race is still early, but as of now, Democrats are the slight favorites, so I will be putting Michigan into the tilt blue category. And with the final state filled out, this is my first ever 2026 Senate map prediction. With every state filled out, the Democrats stand at 47 seats and the Republicans stand at 53 seats. Even though the Democrats are looking strong in the battleground states, Republicans are still ultimately able to maintain their majority. However, the 2026 cycle is more of a defensive cycle for Democrats, as they're trying to hold on to seats in battleground states like Michigan and Georgia. As of now, they are on track to win these seats. However, in states like these, everything is subject to change. The 2028 election cycle is where Democrats really have a chance to not only win back the Senate, but also the presidency and the House. Make sure to stay tuned, as we will be covering the 2028 election cycle soon. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like down below and subscribe to my channel to stay updated on both the 2026 and the 2028 election cycles. It really does mean the world to me. Comment down below what you guys think will happen in the 2026 midterms, and I'll see you guys in the next video.